Hello everyone and welcome to Journey with the Kellers, the Lego edition. So my name is Amanda Keller and today we are going to be talking about the Death Star. So this is the model 10143. It was actually released in 2005 and of course is retired now and it is hard to find. I was able to find one on eBay in a new and sealed box. And so I've put it together finally, and we're going to do a slight review of it. So first of all, usually when I do my reviews, I kind of judge on how hard they were to build, how stable they are once they are built, and things like that. So the first thing I'll talk about is how hard was this to build? Well, if you're just talking about clicking the bricks together, no, not really different from any of the other Lego builds that I've done. But I have only been doing Legos now for a little bit over a year and a half, like I said in my last video. And so I have always done newer ones that I bought from Lego, which have numbered bags that go with the instructions. Well, I guess in the older models, they didn't do that. So they basically just threw the parts in a bag and they gave you the instructions and you had to play search and find to find the right part. Now they did have, like, if they had a bunch of several of one part, they would have all of those in one bag and things like that. But other than that, a lot of them were just scattered out through bags and you had to just search to find the correct part. So that's what made this so hard. The other thing that made it so hard was in the middle of this thing is basically just a big tall stand, okay? And then you build the globe around it. When you first start building the globe, they have you build it all on the one side and then it starts to tilt because this base down here is not very wide. So it starts to tilt. So I actually had to kind of lean it against something a little bit because I was afraid it was going to fall over, especially if somebody were happen to come by and bump the table or if the cat would jump up here like he does from time to time. And so that was what I would consider hard to build. There was times where it was half built and leaning against something and I had to go and do other things. And so the whole time I'm freaking out, somebody's going to bump it and it's going to fall and crash all over the floor. So as far as that I would say this was a little bit harder to build because of those two things. And then once you get it together, it is not very stable. So I judge stability by if I can pick it up and move it easily without parts falling off or without me feeling like it's going to wobble apart or whatever. I've had a few Legos that I've put together that I feel like, every time I move them, I'm going to have to rebuild it. The Millennium Falcon is like that. As long as you keep it stable and level, the top plates don't move around a lot. And also the Star Destroyer is like that too. I don't feel like I can move it around very easily without it falling apart. This is just like that. See this thing? It wobbles a lot. It's pretty scary. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna pick it up off this table to move it onto the display shelf. That being said, it is a very cool model. So I did build, in my last video, you saw the 75159 Death Star, which also goes along with the 10188. Both of those Death Stars are basically the same, with just the 75159 having some updated minifigures and a few more pieces. I ended up not keeping that Death Star because of the fact that I like more of a display model, and it seems more like a play set for me. And what I mean by a display model is I don't necessarily need minifigures and all of that. I just like to display it and see it. And also for me, when I was a kid and went and saw Star Wars, one of the first images that you see of the Death Star is basically this, of it not completely built and just kind of hanging in the sky. So I thought this, to me, brought back a lot of nostalgia from when I got to go see the Star Wars movies and things like that. So this one I definitely will be keeping. Hopefully I'll be able to move it and get it up on a shelf without destroying it. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Death Star, okay? Just a minute. Okay, so as you can see, this is basically the big planet-killing laser that's coming off of the Death Star, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, you've got the plaque down here that describes what the Death Star is and all of that. And so, it's pretty cool. It tells you the different weapons and things like that. So then we have basically just it's the outer shell of the Death Star and what it looks like when you basically first see it in the movies. I think it's really cool that they did this where it's not completely built, and all of that, and it's very, very intricate as it goes into it. And so it's this piece here on this bottom piece is the exact replica of this piece up here, but you had to build it twice and then flip it upside down to get it in there. So that was hard and a little bit scary. Also with all these little pieces hanging off and stuff here, a lot of times if you touch them, they just kind of fall off. And then you're, playing search, where did it fall to, and trying to find it. And so a few things are a little bit fragile. As you can see, it looks like this isn't quite on there right, so I'm going to have to go fix that. And then you have the top up here, which basically just used one of the wheels, which I thought was kind of funny, and then you hooked the different things up to them. Some of them are hooked up, some of them are not, some are just placed there. And so I think it's a really cool build. I love how it came out. This will be awesome on display. I am going to have to worry about my cats or somebody jumping up on the shelf and bumping it and possibly knocking it over. So I'm going to try to put it on the display shelf that the cats can't really get up on, hopefully. So this is the one, the first Death Star that they released for Lego. And as some of you may have heard, and some of you may or not, there are rumors of a new one coming out, which was why I wanted to build the old Death Stars to begin with, so I can kind of do a comparison. So this is it for you guys today. This is the 10143 Death Star. Hope you guys had enjoyed the video and got to see a better look at it again. And, hopefully we'll get a new Death Star. Here's the little starship going around. And so hopefully we'll get a new Death Star pretty soon. A more updated one, and that would be really awesome. All right, everybody have a good day. Bye.